welcome to Tabletop Travel Guide, Off the Beaten Path, where we delve into places we didn't get to spend a lot of time in our adventures. This mini episode is brought to you today by Tyler's new tiny soundboard.
Yes, I got a new toy yesterday. Up until now, for the last 70-some episodes, I just record through my laptop. But I finally bit the bullet and bought a little soundboard, and I wanted to test it out. And so instead of doing it on a real episode, where I could have messed things up, we're doing it on a tiny episode.
Where we're just going to take tiny snippets of places from continents we've already been to, but we can't see everything when we do an episode, so we've pulled out some fun cities and places that either you might want to spend some time in as a party, you might want to visit briefly. Who knows? Maybe some of these will be places for romantic interludes.
Ooh.
But let's not get our hopes up.
Especially not mine.
All right, so Tyler, I believe you prepared places that are all in the Mwangi.
Yes. So when we were discussing what kind of test episode we wanted to do, you suggested let's do locations that we hadn't done before. And so I sent on the Pathfinder wiki, there's like an interactive globe of Golarion. And so I just was in Mwangi and I'm like, okay, let's go to places that we went to, and then they have little markers of tiny towns and tiny other things. So I figured, let's pick one of those.
All right. Well, do you want to kick us off then?
Sure. So the first town I actually have a lot of ruined cities. So this is not necessarily places you would go to like hang out with a city, but it'd be like exploring ruins.
For your Indiana Jones type of adventures.
Yes. So the first one is called Drowning Stones. It is, looks maybe like 150 miles southeast of Jaha.
Okay.
Kind of farther in the woods. This one, the reason I picked this is because the in the wiki, it says the location was abandoned by its population when it began to sink into the swamp.
Oh, no.
And all I thought of was that scene in Monty Python where they build that castle and they're like, they told me not to build a castle on a swamp, but I did it. And then it sank into the swamp. And then I built it again. And that one sank into the swamp. And then I built it one more time. And that one fell down, burnt down, and then sank into the swamp. So I kind of went because it was funny. But so it's kind of interesting because basically like this town fell into the swamp for the most part, so most of the population left, but there is like a central fortress that remains relatively dry in it.
Okay.
And its city takes its name from the massive standing stones that served as the pillars for the central forum.
So are there people here?
Actually, yes. So there are groups of Ulat Kini, ULAT-KINI, Ulat Kini, also known as Scum. They're like Olgolthu from the Darklands. Okay. So they kind of pop their way up from some undiscovered entrance to the underground world. And so now they occupy the area, even though apparently there's like a kind of tribe of Mwangi called the Rumawa, who are like, they live near the area and they're trying to like kick them back out because they consider this like a sacred land. So it's kind of interesting. Like they like kind of guard the ruins from outsiders, but these things are still getting in. And they, unfortunately worship, they being the Ulat Kanis, worship a demon lord. So, not great. There's like a temple to her in a cavern beneath the city.
Okay.
Sounds familiar. No.
So Indiana Jones, but be careful.
Yes. The kind of interesting thing too, like, is Pathfinder Society maintains a small way station like 24 miles downriver.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, it's kind of an interesting area of like, there seems to be some ruins. It's kind of funny because it fell into the swamp, but like different parties still kind of want this location.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
A little bit of mystery.
Right. Like, I'm not sure. Again, I don't think this would be a good date night.
Yeah.
But it could be cool, like, you know, if you're thinking of, I don't know, adventure, like a side quest, like there's, you know, you might work and help the Ramawa. There it is.
Or if there's like an artifact in the swamp.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be kind of a fun trek, how to get in and out of the swamp.
Yeah.
And retrieve whatever in murky water.
Yeah. So drowning stones.
Okay. Well, you chose all things in the Mwangi, and then I chose all things in Avestan.
Nice.
So we're going to have some whiplash here as we just...
North and south, and north and south.
Pretty much.
North and south.
So we're going to go from, you know, the lovely jungle, all the way up to a cold place.
Okay.
We are headed to Port Ice.
Ooh.
Which is a small port city in Brevoy.
Okay.
That is on the Lake of Mists and Veils.
Nice. So we went from like, you know, Jaha's south of Mwangi, or like the south of Mwangi to the north of Avestan, north.
Yes. So I chose this town because it's another pirate town.
Hell yeah, pirates.
But these are the winter pirates.
Do they have like, I mean, that could still be cool. I'm thinking like, you know, they have the pirate kings with the like leather jackets. I just imagine it's kind of like the fur-lined leather jackets.
So
and the earmuff tricone.
Yes, exactly. So I chose this because I think the history of it is interesting.
Okay.
So it is an area where like it is winter a lot of the time, and like it maybe thaws out a little bit in the warmer months, but like lots of cold. So now it's been a while since we've been to this section, and we didn't spend like a ton of time on Brevoy because sidebar, it's kind of boring. Yeah,
I think we did Brevoy and Razmir in the same episode.
Yeah,
because
and like
there wasn't enough.
Yeah, it doesn't have a ton going on.
They have sword lords. That's about it.
Yeah. So historic Brevoy used to be two different countries. One, Isia, and then Rostland.
Yeah.
So Port Ice is the historic capital of Isia.
Oh, okay.
And so Isia was a pirate area. Like it was run by that house of pirate lord.
It was the capital of pirate lord.
Yes. So when what's his face, Coral the Conqueror comes in and like whatever. Okay, so he mushes them together. He marries the daughter of the pirate lord.
Okay.
For that.
Yeah.
So essentially the fun thing about this is they're all like, okay, cool, whatever. And then years and years down the road, like the descendants of now the new ruling house just kind of like disappear.
Ooh.
And then the old family who, you know, came down from the pirate lords and stuff, they're like, well, cool, we'll just take back over again. So they pretty much are in charge of Brevoy at this point. Like it came back around for them. So I just thought like the history part of it was fun. And then I also enjoyed the visual of like pirates wearing a bunch of like fur stuff and like, let me get out on this lake. There's a lot of ice.
Yeah. So how big is the Lake of Mists and Veils? It's like, it's pretty big, isn't it?
I'm like, is it the same size of as Lake Incarthen?
Maybe.
I gotta pull it up and see how big it looks on the map.
So I'm like, I imagine, you know, pirates in the high seas versus like, oh, that looks pretty big.
Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than Lake Incarthen.
Okay.
So it's like a decent size, or it might be a similar.
So like
it's just a different shape. It's a weird shape.
Enough for piracy, but it's like.
Well, and you have several countries that border it. Okay. So you have Brevoy, you have Numeria, you have Mendev, and then what is past Brevoy? Fangard, which we never went to.
Now, once you get past, so I think it borders on the other side is Casmaron, like the continent.
Okay.
So it's basically on the border of Avestan and Casmaron.
Yeah. So you have like lots of kind of countries that if you were into like piracy and pillaging, like you can get to a lot of other places.
Nice.
So yeah, so fun winter pirate town. There you go.
Nice. Cool. So
back to
the jungle
and warm places.
And warm places. So, as I was kind of looking around, just scrolling through the map, I came across Lake Akota.
Okay.
If you remember, Usaro, our worst place we've ever been to, is on the south end of Lake Akota. And I'm like, I wonder what else is on Lake Akota. So I went to the north side, and there is a ruined city. I like the ruined cities for this. This is my theme of Dokkaran.
Okay.
So it stands on the, like I said, north side, almost basically like due north of Usaro, on the other side of the lake. So the interesting thing here is this town, not much is known about it, what it used to be, but like centuries ago, an insane follower of Zon-Cathon.
As you do.
Yeah. So kind of where Night Owl's branching out. Named, I don't know why I picked all these hard words. Tiruwat, Tyruwat, Tiruwat, the Lost One. So Tiruwat, the Lost One, an insane follower of Zon-Cathon. He basically obliterated the town.
Oh, that's
obliterated the city with an artifact known as the Song of Extinction.
Not great.
Yeah. So the Song of Extinction has two forms, a melody and a major artifact in the form of a music box.
I thought you were going to say like a melody and a major chord.
It's horror movies. We only like minor chords.
That's fair.
Isn't that aren't minor chords creepier?
Yeah.
So music box. I assume it's all minor chords. Yeah, so it both devours the souls of their victims and transfers their life energy to the singer or wielder.
Oh boy.
So yeah, he used it, and he actually got this artifact in response to a prayer to Zon-Cathon. I don't really know what the prayer was.
Nothing good.
Nothing good. So he was granted knowledge of the lyrics, and he created the music box and inscribed it. And then, if the sufficiently strong-willed follower of the god sings the lyrics to the accompaniment of the tune of the music box, walls crumble and an entire city can be reduced to ruins.
Man, you chose great places to take us.
I did. I know.
All right, so it's now a crumbling pile of ruin?
So it is, but the interesting thing is like Tiruwat still lives beneath the city's grand temple.
Oh.
His life was greatly extended because he's sucked the entire life of everybody in.
So he's just living under a pile of rubble?
Yeah. He's guarded by a pack of howlers and a tribe of wild elves he has subjugated.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Apparently they come up in a adventure path. I assume he's the villain in an adventure called...
I would hope so.
Actually, Pathfinder Society scenario. It's, old school. This is D&D 3.5.
What?
Yeah. So remember, for those of you who are new to Pathfinder, Paizo started out as a 3.5 offshoot. They made adventures for 3.5, and then they created the Pathfinder system. So yeah, this was back in 2009. Man. So I assume the society came and maybe dealt with him.
Well, good, because he seems like somebody should have dealt with him.
Right. But yeah, the interesting thing here, too, is there's a venture captain in Nintambu, or a late venture captain. He died in 4715. But he runs a hidden Pathfinder lodge in there. And a tapestry of the city hangs in there. So I'm yeah.
Interesting.
A little bit intriguing there.
A little bit.
Again, Pathfinder Society, they're just everywhere.
Yeah. Well, okay, so hopefully the Pathfinder Society took care of him. So if you adventured their current timeline, I don't think you would find the bad musician. But who knows what else you might find? Who
knows? Yeah, I am not sure. Yeah, because that would make sense. I obviously don't know the spoilers of Lyrics of Extinction, but he was only level 14, so it went to level 11, so that seems feasible.
Yeah.
Do you want to know a couple of the lyrics of the Song of Extinction?
Sure.
Quotes such as, "Forsake beauty, embrace envy."
Oh.
"The shadows call out for souls." "Raise your voices, the greatest scream choir will be heard this day." Oh man, this is Zon-Cathonian. Beg for pain, the Midnight Lord will show his might.
Nope, don't like that.
Learn to welcome the chains.
Nope. Nope.
Not a fan. It is interesting though that like Zon-Cathon, I know they have their like, they're mostly a night owl, but interesting that he kind of spread his.
He's like, look, I'm not a deity for one area. All you weirdos.
I'm for weirdos everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So second ruin city again. Want a date night there, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me neither.
Cool.
All
Back
right.
to
Well,
you.
in continuing this theme of bouncing around the world, I'm going to go to another cold place.
Ooh.
But we're headed to the other side of Avestan.
Okay.
We're headed to the land of the Lenorm
Yeah.
kings. And we are going to stop over in Halgrim.
Okay.
Which is the seat of Lenorm King White Estrid.
Love her.
Yes, which we talked about when we did the Land of the Lenorm Kings.
I think when we did that, I might have done that episode. It's been a while. But
I didn't because I did Irison, and that was right before or after it. Yeah. I did a different winter place.
Yeah, I think I briefly covered the Lenorm Kings, but not like the location.
Okay, so we'll just give a reminder for who White Estrid is. So she is a lady Lenorm King.
Yep.
And her big thing is that to gain her crown, instead of killing her Lenorm, she just subjugated it.
Yeah.
So she defeated the Lenorm in battle, and then they made a deal, and then Lenorm was like, yeah, I don't really want to die, so like I'm cool to like just work for you. And she was like, great, that sounds awesome. So Halgrim is the city that you can find White Estrid and her Lenorm,
nice
Boil Tongue, hanging out in. So he defends the city, which like is arguably the cooler part of this. And the city just sounds very cool. So she has her palace there. There's a river that flows through Halgrim, and there are 7 different bridges that cross over the river that connect the different parts of the city, which again, just visually sounds really cool. And then Boil Tongue is just like hanging out and bopping around the city in different places.
I feel like my favorite part about that whole thing is like there are definitely some people who are like, well, she's not a real Lenorm King because she didn't kill a Lenorm, and it's like, what are you gonna do about it? She's got a Lenorm on it.
Yes. So one of the like interesting things is like Boil Tongue will hang out with her in the throne room, and like if anybody like questions her like authority to rule or whatever, he'll be like, no, she absolutely defeated me in one-on-one combat.
Yeah.
And it's like, argue with me. So like just, I don't know, cool vibes there. So I think that would be a fun place to go. Obviously, we still need our parkas. It is still cold. But as a city, it sounds very cool. There's, lots of great history there. You can see a Lenorm and not be worried about getting eaten by the Lenorm.
Yeah. Well, and that's probably the only place, unless you are a soon-to-be Lenorm King, that you'd be able to go to see a living Lenorm and not be in very much danger.
Yes. And so this is like a full metropolis. Like it's a large settlement here, and it's out in the Ironbound Isles, so it's on an island out there. So yeah, I thought that was super cool,
nice,
and a fun place to visit. I don't know if you're bringing a date unless your date's really into like creatures that could eat you, which I respect that if that's what you're into.
That's true. I know we pivoted into would you bring a date here, but obviously I feel like from a sightseeing perspective it would be also just very cool to visit.
Yeah, I think it'd be like a neat stop off for a party too. Like especially if you were doing a campaign that's up in that area, like what a fun place to stop off, to do your supplies, to do some shopping, to like sightsee or whatever, or depending on what you're building for your party, like, I don't know, maybe you're getting a mission from White Estrid to go investigate something. Like it could be a good starting point too.
Yeah. So far it feels like your places are the places parties would go to like be in town, and my places are the places that parties would go to kill some things.
Yeah, we took different routes here, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I do want everyone that's listening to know that I explicitly said, should we talk about cities? And Tyler said yes.
We
did.
And
then Tyler chose ruins.
Look, technically cities.
They were once cities.
So when I was looking through, I'm like, okay, I'm looking through and like picking things and like, oh, do I want to do there? Do I want to do there? And then I'm like, you know what? In my thought, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like pick stuff. If there's
Okay.
like a description of it, I want to pick it and go from there because I'm like thinking, I'm thinking of just like spinning a globe, hitting my butt. Like,
All right.
so though all of mine are very similar in terms of vibes.
Well,
I
what we're
guess.
learning here is Tyler's globe spin. Fate is just taking him to ruins.
Yeah. Or I just like, apparently I also really just like cities that were part of adventures because the next one I realized is also part of a hilariously 3.5 adventure.
Oh man, you like went way into the archive for this. All
Yeah.
right, where are we going next?
So next place we are going back into the Mwangi.
Mhm.
We are on the east side, right next to the Shattered Range. So if
Okay.
you remember, the Mwangi Expanse and the Impossible Lands are separated by a big, huge mountain range.
Yes.
Impossible Lands including Nex, Geb,
Uh-huh.
Alkenstar, etc.
Sure.
So this one's kind of on or near the mountain range.
Okay.
And so, again, it is a ruins of a city, but in this case, it was the ruins of a crashed flying city.
Oh.
Yeah, so it is killing myself. Ulduvai,
Oh, boy.
Ulduvai. Ulduvai. It is the last of the shory flying cities in Garund. So I think we might have covered these a little bit in the Mwangi episode. So these are the ones at one point in the Mwangi, there were flying cities that just traveled around the
Yes.
expanse.
Okay.
And they usually had a sister city on the ground.
Oh,
So,
okay. Mhm,
yeah.
mhm. Yeah, I remember this now.
So this was the last shory flying city, and this near the Shadow Range is where it crashed. So the interesting thing here is basically they were trying to like restore the Shory Empire,
Mm-hmm.
but the sorcerers consorted with the powers of the Dark Tapestry,
Oh, no.
which, reminder, are the Cthulian deities known as the
Mhm.
Great Old Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they are generally not great people to make deals with because they drive you insane.
Not a great outcome.
Yeah, so they ended up, the entire population was driven mad by a Shoggoth, servant of Azathoth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those were real words.
You really did set yourself
I
up
really
to
did.
work really hard today.
I know. So yeah, that happened in minus 507 AR. So we're looking, this is pre-Aerodin
Yeah.
to show up. But the interesting thing, so where the adventure comes in, it's called Crucible of Chaos.
Okay.
And I believe again, haven't went through the adventure, but it is 3.5, which is funny. There are like 3 sorcerers that survived in town,
Okay.
and they're all undead. You have
Yeah.
Yakmar, the insane adventurer mage,
Oh, boy.
Yithdul, the arcane diplomat, and Bandarak, former head of the city's aromantic corps.
Ah.
So I thought, I don't know.
And they're just hanging out here still?
I think so. They're just like vibing. I assume it's one of those where, it's part of the adventure. You probably go and meet and or fight them. But it's interesting because like,
Maybe they just want a conversation. They've been hanging around for a while.
Right.
They're like, what are the tidbits? Tell us the tea.
right. So it's interesting because Yakmar and Bandarak are both insane, but then Yithdul has been undead, but he's also the only sane one, and he's kept his sanity.
He's like, please talk to me.
Please.
Tell me about the world. I'm stuck with these two all the time.
Yeah. So he's been sane throughout his transformation, which again has been almost 5,000 years.
Yeah, that's too long. Why did they stay here? Why did they not go somewhere else?
Right.
Are they stuck?
for the lore. They did it for the story. Yeah. So I can't remember if there are other like ruined actual like shory cities as prominent or like visible. So I don't know. It's kind of cool to like see, again, assuming these people are been taken care of by the adventure. Who knows?
Or at least are chill with you walking around and looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe if you tell them stories about what's happening
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Right.
Give them someone else to talk to for a little bit.
I'm tired of these 2 idiots. They're just insane. But yeah, it'd be interesting, just to see like the flying city next to the Shattered Range.
Yeah.
So yeah, more places for parties to go, and there's it doesn't seem like this one would be sent from anywhere nearby, but you could end up there.
Yeah.
It might be near, like I'm not sure how near it is to the path No, the Ndele Gap is a couple hundred miles north, but you never know.
Yeah, maybe you took a wrong turn and you end up here as a oopsie side quest.
Yeah.
All right, well, back up to Avestan. We're not necessarily going somewhere cold now.
Okay.
We're going right in the middle.
Nice.
We are headed to the small town of Vontil.
Okay.
Which is on the coast of Lake Carthen and is part of Ustalav.
Ooh, nice. Vampire town.
Yeah, so as we all remember, Ustalav, land of vampires.
Yes.
Great. But this is probably the best of all of our locations if we're talking about, like, I don't know, nice places to go. This settlement is notable because it is filled with skilled folk artisans.
Okay.
Flowers, good wine, and food.
Nice.
So it's great. The wiki said it's probably one of the most affluent regions in the country.
Wow.
There's miles of vineyards and flower farms. So essentially what I am picturing here...
It's creepy Napa? Or like...
Well, it's like the coast of France.
Ooh.
With some vampires-ish.
That implies that there aren't vampires in France.
Well, it'd be a good place to be.
Right.
So every year, chefs, winemakers, perfumers, jewelers, artisans compete in the annual Last Breath Festival for the highly coveted mantle of worth dying for.
What?
Isn't that hilarious?
That is the most amazing thing.
So, yeah. So you have to create something that's worth dying for, and that's like what wins the prize. There are regular scandals, though, in this contest. If you, there's been historic use of human ingredients.
Ooh. Oh no.
Sometimes there's been an assassination and mysterious death. Oh no, this vintner's going to outvint me. Murder.
I imagine the person who, made their dish with human ingredients, somebody's like, wait, how is this worth dying for? And they're like, somebody died for it. Literally died for it.
However, none of these things are really deterring people's participation or enjoyment of the festival. If anything, it's just making it more infamous.
Look,
and
a few bad eggs.
Or it's just the drama, right? People are like, ooh, what weird thing will happen at the festival this year?
Man.
So,
I think that wins. Just both places to go. I feel like every adventure to some extent also has a hey, we're going to be in a festival.
Yes.
And
this is the city I wanted to do this random episode for. Because again, we talked about Ustalav, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about the tiny town of 700 people that has a Is It Worth Dying For festival.
That's super
So
cool.
I just thought that was excellent.
Does it say what book that comes from? Down in the...
Yeah. So... Obviously, parts of this is campaign setting for the Inner Sea World Guide, and then Ashes at Dawn and Rule of Fear.
Okay, I think that's an adventure path.
Let me see. What's Rule of Fear? Yes, Rule of Fear is an adventure path. Or no, campaign setting.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Rule of Fear is a campaign setting, and then this town comes up in history and countries and Rule of Fear, and then is briefly mentioned in the bestiary part of Ashes at Dawn, and that's an adventure path.
Nice. Well, I think one of the things, and
because that one takes place in Califas, so that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So obviously we just released our Extinction Curse adventure path discussion, and
we
obviously
talked about tons of towns.
Yeah, there's tons of towns in there, and they're all kind of unique, and you would we wouldn't have covered that in the Isle of Kortos or Starstone, and there's just so many places. Again, you could look, and we'll put a link in the show notes to the the wiki map, because if you've never looked at it, you can literally just it pulls a kind of 3D scrollable globe. You just go around, and there's markings everywhere. So yeah, it's just cool to see all the places that we're never going to talk about unless we do something like this where we're digging in deep, or they come across in an adventure.
Yeah, for sure.
And to some extent they would, but two of mine, obviously not cities, but two of mine were from 3.5 adventures, which is nuts. We'd never get to those.
Yes.
But yeah, no, that's cool. yeah, I don't want to go anywhere else. I think just that last place.
I would absolutely bring a date here. I would absolutely bring a party here.
Yeah.
Like this tiny town, if it's during the festival, could serve a lot of your needs.
Yeah, and for sightseeing, fantastic.
Right? You can just come here and drink wine.
Oh, I'm down.
And then maybe solve a murder. I don't know.
Yeah.
For fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to think just through how all the like, even if they have, like, a lot of these only have, like, single paragraphs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
like,
yeah, this literally a paragraph on the wiki.
Yeah, like all of mine too, you know, same paragraphs. And obviously we were like, you can go down the wiki path of like, oh, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? But like, there are these things that like just don't, they're not going to fill their own episode. They're not going to fill their own, like, it's just a little area, but there's so many. You know, you could be from that area. Like, if you were from Ustalav, you could be from this town and be like, oh, yeah, I'm used to this. Like,
we had a great little life here in the vineyard.
Yeah, even if your party wasn't, even if your party never went there, like, you know, a character built, come from there. Obviously, you know, maybe from the Halgrim, you could visit or be from there and be like, oh, yeah, I'm used to Lenorms. And I don't know.
Overall, I also think it's just very cool to highlight some of the things in Pathfinder that aren't like as obvious. Like there are still writers that spent time to create all of these things. So it's fun to just like pull the little pieces that otherwise might not get a ton of attention and like recognize like, man, somebody like came up with this whole idea. And I'm like, good job, writer. That was so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always funny. Like I think anytime, you know, you try to like build out your own world or something for like a homebrew, you're like, I'm going to do a homebrew. I got a big idea. And you're like, oh God. I have to build a world? I'm sorry, what?
I'm like, what if I just talk about this one tiny place that I thought of in my brain and not consider how everything else works? Excellent.
Yeah. And like, obviously, you know, Golarion's the kind of the melting pot. You can find stuff for everywhere. But this was cool. Awesome.
Well, listeners, thank you for coming on this short, very all over the place adventure with us. And give us some feedback on how we sound, since this was mainly a trial run for sound equipment.
Yep.
But hopefully you learned something fun, too. Catch us next time when we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. But until then, safe travels.